Like my flow's been hot for so long. You thinking I'ma fucking fall off? You're so wrong. Patiently waiting for a track to explode on. You get stunned if you want and your ass to get rolled on. It feels like my flow's been hot for so long. You thinking I'ma fucking fall off? You're so wrong.
You've been patiently waiting to make it through all the hating, debating whether or not you can even weather the storm. When she lay on the table, they operating to save you. It's like an angel came to you, sent from the heavens above.
Anderson Silva encapsulates what it means to be a martial artist. Humble in victory or defeat, disciplined. There's a lot of cage fighters in the sport, but Anderson was a guy that commanded your respect. Not to mention, his style in the cage was fucking terrifying.
Like we said, second to none. Oh! He front kicked him in the face! Absolutely right!
Anderson always had this feeling of like a Coke bottle ready to explode, very reactive, very fast twitch. He would usually take some time to get information, but once he had you figured out, there was literally nothing you could do about it. Punches, kicks, knees, elbows, flying attacks, spinning attacks, distance management, footwork, and a BJJ black belt that saved his championship at one point. I've said before, he was the guy nobody wanted to fight, and he was the guy with the gold.
I tried to punch him, and he literally moved his head out of the way and looked at me like I was stupid for doing it.
You want to know my favorite thing about Anderson Silva? He's a prime example of what Wing Chun can do in the cage.
This is fight shit, this is ninja shit.
Oblique kicks, hand disruption, trapping hands, turning it into an elbow. This is all Wing Chun stuff. Fun fact, John Jones' eye-poking technique is literally Wing Chun, and no, I'm not kidding.
I do poke people in the eyes, and it's very illegal, but I do it.
Silva also had an ability to understand distance better than almost anyone in UFC history. In his prime, throwing something like a head kick at him was a fool's errand. Guy would either be a mile away or would duck under the shot without even seeing it. He was just miles ahead of people in the striking game. Forrest Griffin, one of the all-time blood and guts fighters, looked powerless against him, going 3 for 42 on strikes and getting KO'd with a goddamn anchor punch.
Look at Silva. I mean, that's just amazing. And again,
He's out.
Anderson Silva has knocked out Boris Griffin.
Some Muhammad Ali stuff right there. Anderson was an example of a fighter with an intimidating presence in the cage. When he was doing this kind of janky shit, he wasn't hitting you or hurting you, but guys had a tendency to freeze up because they didn't know what to do about it. Chael had a great point about Silva's style. The key isn't to go wrestle Anderson, the key is to go fight Anderson. The Chael Sonnen fights were a massive point in Silva's career. Coming off of the Damian Maia fight and pissing Dana all the way off, Chael was given the next shot at the title. This was definitely made because Chael would push the pace and force Anderson to get into a fight with him. None of this dancing around, avoiding takedown stuff. Anderson faced more adversity in these fights than his entire career up to that point. But with only 2 minutes to go, Silva pulled off the greatest submission in UFC history. Getting a black belt under Big Nog means you're pretty good at jiu-jitsu, it turns out. I know, it's true.
So happy, because Chael and I create something for the new generation. Everybody go remember the day with Chael and I fight in UFC. I help a lot of kids in Brazil and the rest of the world when I fight Chael. And the people respect us because Chael and I doing something very special for the world. It's not for only for United States or for Brazil, but for the world.
After randomly becoming obsessed with medium rare steak before the second fight, Chael basically threw it with that dumbass spinning back fist, and Anderson would take his undefeated run to 16-0 before running into Weidman's hands and his shin bone. Anderson's career did not have the ending it deserved. I know, hot take. But really though, it's a perfect example of how cold and unforgiving this sport can be. From the leg break, the PED bust that you can maybe assume were because of that, but nonetheless, all the way down to getting knocked out in an empty arena in your last MMA fight is just no way for a champion like him to go out.
You inspired me. When I started, I was a young cocky kid, saying things I regret, and the whole time I was looking at this guy thinking, wow, I want to be like that guy.
But regardless of how the tail end of his career went, I always loved watching Anderson fight. Really, who didn't? One of the best strikers of all time. And simply put, if you have an MMA Hall of Fame, and it doesn't include Anderson Silva, you got a bullshit MMA Hall of Fame.